showcasing the London system opening. It is a very common opening played by white in chess. So I'll be showing you three different lines played in this opening. It has multiple lines, but I'll be showing you three of the more common ones. So let's start with the first one. The game begins with a move pawn to d4 by white, and then if black responds with the move d5, we can play the London system by either developing a knight on the g square or developing on our bishop on the c square. Let's say we play the bishop first. After this, black has multiple options. He can develop either of his knights or push the pawn in front of the king. So let's say he develops his knight on the g square. Now, as white, we'll be playing the move pawn to e3, opening up our bishop and also providing more stability in the center. We can also move this knight instead of this pawn, but I'm showing you this line first. Now let's say black plays the move a pawn to c5. This is also a very common opening and a more confrontational one, trying to attack this pawn. So after this, as white, we can take back, but that won't be of any help as it weakens our center. So instead, we'll develop our knight to the f3 square. Now, black will play the move knight to c6, attacking this pawn once again and also trying to take control of the center. So in response, let's say we play the move knight to d2. This helps us take control of the center even more and also helps us develop the knight. Now, black here will move the pawn in front of the king to open up his bishop. After this, we have two options. We can either develop this pawn so that it provides more stability in the center by playing it to the c3 square, or we can develop our bishop, opening up some room for the king to castle. So we'll first play the pawn in the center, providing a castle tower-like structure and more stability in the center. Now black moves his bishop, and so will we as white, so that both of our kings can castle. And this would be a very ideal scenario in which all our pieces are developed and the king is castled. Another common line paired in the London system is this one, where the match begins the same game. And after the first three moves, the difference is that black develops his e pawn instead of his c pawn, making some room for the black bishop. And now let's say after white develops his knight, black develops his bishop. So here we have many options, and this is a very common line. Here, as white, we can take his bishop, keep our bishop on the same square, or retreat this bishop. A very common move that most people play is taking the bishop. But I'd rather suggest you to play the move bishop to g3, as this is a little more stable than the one where we exchange the bishops. So in this case, if black takes your bishop, you take back, and now the game is in your favor as black can't castle. Because if he chooses to castle this way, white will develop their bishop and attack this. And this is not an ideal setup for black. Let's see another common line played in the London system. The game again begins with the move d4 followed by d5. White will develop his bishop, black will develop his knight. Now white develops his knight, and then instead of moving a pawn, black this time develops his white bishop. So let's see what white should ideally do in this case. So they should proceed by playing the e pawn first of all to open up the bishop, and then try to move the knight out either to this square or to this square. But ideally, in the London system, this move is played so that we can move this pawn over here and develop a tower-like structure, providing stability in the center. So let's say black develops his c pawn. Now, as white, we'll develop our c pawn, providing a tower-like structure. And then, after that, both the players will move their respective bishops out so that they can castle easily. So the idea is pretty similar to the first line. The basic idea in all the openings that we've seen is that we develop this bishop and this knight in the first 3 to 4 moves. Then we try to move our white bishop outside so that we can castle, and we develop a tower like structure over here, providing stability. The one thing that is up to you in all the lines is where to put the P knight, either on this square or this square. Mostly in the London system, we move it over here so that this pawn can move forward and create this structure. So thank you very much.